Hi, this is Johnny from Draghammer. I just wanted to say hi and welcome to my channel, since this is the first time ever showing my face. Today we're gonna paint the Captain in Terminator Armour. This is gonna be a full video that goes on YouTube. I think shorts on TikTok potentially. Oh well, I'll see you around. The Captain in Terminator Armour is the face of Ultramarines. He is on the box of the starter set, the introductory set. Now you're gonna be able to get it with the first edition of the new Combat Patrol magazine. So join me on this journey where I'm gonna make the Captain look like this. We're gonna start with Abaddon Black, since I've already got the Captain primed, applied 2 layers of Macrack Blue, and gave it enough time to dry. We're gonna paint the weapon first, and then we're gonna get those joints that have that specific under armor texture. I'm taking my time to make sure that I'm covering everything properly. Next we're using Corax White. We're gonna start with the emblem on his chest. Then we're gonna move to his shoulder. I'm not really worried about being neat because we're gonna touch everything up later on. Now we're back on the emblem with the second coat, and now we're gonna paint under the captain's cape. It can be quite challenging to get underneath the cape without making a mess. I've seen a lot of people taking the figure apart, but I prefer having it in one piece. I'm finishing up with an angle brush to get into the really tight spots. And there we are. Now it's time to grab some Mephiston red. And use it on the exterior of the cape. I'm trying to be as neat as possible, I am thinning down the paint so I'm not getting so many lines. At the same time, I'm not too worried because there's nothing I can't fix later on. As you can see, I needed to let it dry so I can get a second coat on it. I think that it looks great so far. What do you think? Now it's time for our sponsor. Myself. Yeah, you heard it right, I'm sponsoring my own video. I've put a lot of time and effort into making this video, so if you wanna support me, smash that like button and subscribe. I know that I couldn't really find my words at the beginning of the video, but I thank you. Now back to the video. At this step, I'm using a regular pencil just to mark some delimitations or a pattern so it helps me paint it. I've seen a lot of creators doing it, and to be honest, I don't know if it helps me or not. It ended up looking good after. I've also added a few white marks that looks like scratches. I've picked up Wraithbone and I went over the ribbons. And now I'm gonna go over the tyrannid body on the base. Since we've started painting the Tyranid, I've picked up Naggaroth Knight and painted the Tyranid head as well. Then I went for his shoulder. This is how it looks like so far. Next, we pick up Celestra Grey. We're gonna paint the score on his shoulder and then the skull that's on the knee of the captain. Afterwards, we're moving to the rock of the base. This might take a wee while, so you can take your time and let me know what do you think about the captain so far. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Now with Cadian fleshtone, we're gonna paint the face of the captain. And then the hair with abbadon black. Now we're gonna use Leadbelcher, which is a realistic metallic finish on the sword first. We're gonna make sure that we're covering everything up each side. We're moving to the gun. Small touch-ups and details, pretty much just to give it that metallic look. Moving to the hoses on the back. We just need to cover them all over. And then, we're gonna move the skull from the top of the captain. It can be quite tricky to get into, so we're taking our time with it. Retributor Armour is a rich metallic gold paint, ideal for creating regal detailed finishes on miniatures. We're gonna use this today firstly on the chest piece. Then we're gonna move to the belt decoration. Then the sword ricasso. And then the skull at the end of the sword handle as well. After some extra layers and touch-ups, we're gonna move on the overhead decoration that we painted with Leadbelcher earlier on. I'm quite happy with the results so far. We are picking up Balthasar gold and we are painting the bullets either on the floor or inside the gun. and then the copper that's poking out from the stone underneath. It's finally time for some shading. With some Agrax earthshade, we're gonna shade the face for a bit first. And we're moving to the ribbons afterwards. Then we're gonna have to recess shade the cape. It is really important not to overdo it. That's how it looks so far after shading everything, including the stone on the base. I know it's been a long video so far, and if you're still here, that's incredible. We still have a few more things before it's finished. Now we're gonna mix Magos Purple and Contrast Medium to create a wash specific for tyranids. So we're adding 2 parts Magos Purple and 1 part Contrast Medium and mix them up. Then we're applying this on the Tyranid body. As usual, we're taking our time to make sure that everything is covered and neat. Now it's time to apply some transfers. Look, I haven't been doing this for such a long time, like I've mentioned before, and this is actually my first ever transfer. I've been watching videos and tutorials online where people were using 4-5 different things like glass varnish for example, and I literally just found my own way. I'm using water. Yeah, just water on the transfer sheet and it comes off. You pick it up with a brush. You put it on the model. And then after, as you could see in the video, I've made small adjustments with something pointy to make sure that it's on the right angle and everything. And then just with a napkin, I absorbed the excess of water away. I think it looks brilliant, and I genuinely don't know why you would need anything else other than water. This works for me perfectly. I've got a few different ones, like this 5 on the back for example. It looks really neat. Now it's time to show the base some love. We're picking up Armageddon dust and cover the parts of the base that are still empty. We're trying to be as neat as possible, because it can get really messy really quick with the technical paint. We've used an improvised plastic tool at first, but it wasn't going really well, so I've swapped with an old brush. While the paint was still wet, I've added a tiny bush as well. And at the end, what I always prefer doing is painting the edges of the base black. Now it's time for the grand reveal.